By heck, it's a bit blustery today. We've had loads of sunshine lately and I've been enjoying that, but at times it just gets too warm. So it's nice to have a bit of wind. So it's been a while since I did my last video, but that's because I did one last week and I deleted it. And the reason being is because everything has grown on so fast, and I figured by the time I'd actually done the editing on it, I might as well just do another video. So now we can see all the growth and how well it's doing, and it is doing well. It's doing well. I've done a lot of changes to the garden, and we'll pick those out as we walk around. We'll do a bit of a walk through. So this is the wildlife dip pools, and I built this for the wildlife mainly anyway. Well, totally really, but I needed it to look pretty good, and I think it is doing now. It's a little bit disappointing that I get all the scum coming onto the water, but I am going to do something about that. I am going to buy some product. Hopefully I'm going to be able to buy some that'll help to clear that up. Now what I've done to this in the last 3 weeks is I've made a few changes, this being one of them. You can't see it's a grate at the moment because it does have the scum on the water there, but if you just make out, I've actually put some more sandstone rocks in there, which I felt would be better than the little pebbles. The little pebbles that surround it tend to migrate to different places as creatures walk on it, like the cats walk on it and they push it in, and other bits and bobs. Birds jump on it, pigeons jump on it, and they knock it all over. So I decided I was going to make it a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit more rigid. So that's what I've done. So on the left, I put those sandstone rocks in, but on the right, see if we can get closer to it for you. On the right, you can see I've put cobbles, more cobbles. And I think that works a lot better. I've left some of the pebbles in. In fact, I've left all the pebbles underneath and simply put the cobbles on top. And from time to time, I'm going to throw a few of the little pebbles on top of that, as, again, just to add interest. So I've made it go all the way round, which it has done. And it's all there, and it's looking a lot better. The rhium behind it, as you can see, is now huge. So as you can see now, it's flowering. It's looking good. The creamy white flower looks good. And the leaves are huge, absolutely huge. This is the biggest I've ever seen them. And there is a reason for that, as I always say to you. And that reason is those cobbles, where are they? There. Those cobbles there are actually the overflow. So when the pond or the dip pools or the water gets too high in there, it goes that way and waters that plant, and one or two other plants actually. If you can see the yellow plant behind it, that's a euphorbia, and that's commonly called the marsh spurge, and that loves it as well. That loves the water that it gets. So that's a win-win situation really. But the leaves this year are massive. So this is the no-name border, and I've had 1 or 2 changes. The box edging. I've been growing this box edging for ages, for probably 2 or 3 years now, and I bought them from, I think, a garden centre originally, in pots, little tiny pots that had 3 plants in, and I took them all out, put them into separate pots, and I've spent my time just growing them on, and now they're looking good. What I'll do eventually over time is I will shape them the way I've shaped all the other box edging, and if I remember, we'll take a look at the other box edging to see just how I've done that. So it's looking nice. It's contained some of the plants. Now I've had to take some plants out because they just simply weren't going to work now I've put the box edging in, but that's good. I've stripped it back down a bit, which is working a lot better in my opinion. Now the euphorbia that you can see there, that is euphorbia purple and gold, and although it's looking okay, to me it's a little bit ropey. It's one of those euphorbias that would really prefer to be further down south, I think, because purple and gold really does prefer a warmer climate than we've got up here. But having said that, it is doing quite well, particularly the flower. Now you can see why the gold bit comes in, because of that goldy looking flower. To me it looks gold. I don't know whether it's looking like that through the camera. So I'm taking cuttings off this one so that I can keep it going. But I'm probably not going to put it back into the garden. I'll probably just grow it on in pots, for now anyway. Because it really is a bit of a, well, not very good, is it? It's just struggling all the time. But the rest of the border's looking good. Now we can go to the Milium effusum aureum, this one here. Look at it, look at those seed heads. They look great. This takes shade, and it probably prefers shade. If it gets too much sun, it does tend to burn it a little bit. It will seed around, but it's a good one to have, that one. I'd like to get that one going all around the garden, and in time I'm sure I will. I've just got to wait for it to seed through. And you can split it if you wish, but the best time to do that is when it first starts its leaf growth, quite early on, but not too early. At least let the leaves establish. And then once you've split it, you can get more plants, obviously. So here's a good shot of Euphorbia malachi. And hopefully that will soon be available to people. I've taken loads more cuttings, so hopefully I'll be able to sell some as well. There's a Euphorbia here that a lot of people might not be familiar with. It's called Dulcis, and the one is sold as Chameleon, which is its variety name. And it's really nice, a really nice one to get if you want that sort of look. I think it's a good one. Lots of other growth. I'm not going to go through all the plants because there's just simply too many. We'll mention one or two that are looking pretty good as we go round, and the changes. I was thinking about the trees I've got in this garden as well, and I've got quite a lot now. I'm backing up because I want to show you this one. This is an Acer that I show many times. And that one is Acer David, or Acer Davidi, and one called Viper, a variety called Viper, and it's looking really good. And that would be a nice tree for a small garden, if you've got a small garden. Behind it, as you can see, there's another tree, a purple leaf plum. It's a lot bigger. That's been here since we moved in. In fact, it's probably been in this garden for about 20-30 years. But it's looking really good, and it's still classed as a small tree. I guess in this case it's probably a medium tree, but technically it's a small tree. And that would be another good choice. But I've quite a few trees in here, in this garden now, because I like trees. I've always liked trees. In fact, I absolutely love trees. As you can see, I've got a few here. The one in the background though, the tall skinny one, that's a betula, so that's a silver birch. And that's on the driveway, and it's looking fantastic. And then I have things like these Acers. So that's Acer aconitifolium with its brilliant leaves. I love it. And it's flowered now, and the seed pods are starting to form and droop. See if we can hold that still enough so that I can show you that. There you go. Looking nice. Very nice. But it's the leaves, it's what I buy it for, or what I keep it for, because I just find them really nice. And it's good for autumn as well, because it has a beautiful autumn colour. What else can we show you around here? Hostas. Hostas are starting to do well now. Still don't know what these varieties are, which is a shame. But as I always tell you, the labels seem to disappear, and I'm convinced it's the pigeons are whipping them out, or somebody's whipping them out and throwing them away. Geranium phaeum, looking nice. I don't know which particular variety this one actually is, but it's looking good. It's a deep purple. I do like deep purple plants. I wonder if I've got the label for this one, because I'm sure my friend gave me this one. Yes, there is one. Let's have a look. Here we go. We've got one. We've got it. Can you believe it? Ah, right. Okay, so on here, this is what she's written. It says Geranium phaeum type. So it's a mid-purple and lilac colour, which it is. It's beautiful. Let's try and lift it up so you can see that. And it is a beauty. Absolute beauty. So it's obviously come off of a plant, and she's just found it as a seedling, which is what I believe she told me. So just a seedling, but nice. Very nice. Now let's try and change the camera angle so you get to view Wisteria strophiopteris, the shuttlecock fern, to you and me. Looking good. You can see why they call it the shuttlecock fern. It's beautiful. I like it. The simplicity of it I like. The downside to that one is if it gets a bit dry later on, it does tend to disappear quicker than any of the other ferns that I've got. There's another grass here I don't often show you. This one's called Luzula nivea. And it can live in shade as it is doing here. A very small clumper, but very nice. And it has these lovely, what would we call those, creamy white again. And it will self-seed around, which is a good thing in my opinion. We're in the gravel area here. Now, the keen of you, or the keen-eyed of you, may have noticed that the gaps are appearing all over in the garden at the minute. That gap there never existed 2 months ago, but they've cut the trees away from the school across the road. So we now get the view across to ex-RAF Binbrook, the RAF camp. I'm in Binbrook itself, and that's the camp that's been there forever. So now we're getting nice views across, and they've taken other trees out, and hopefully, if I remember, we'll show you them as well. So going back to trees, yeah, trees are really, really important in a garden. You cannot get away without a tree. And don't tell me you can't fit one in your garden because it's only, what, 12 foot by 12 foot. You can. Even if it's in a pot, you can put one in a pot. There are small trees that lend themselves perfectly to pots. This being one type, sorbus, different types of sorbus, will live in a pot for several years. And if you learn how to root prune, you can keep it in there forever practically. I do love sorbus. It's probably amongst my favourite type of tree, and I have several varieties. Unfortunately, it doesn't like chalk, heavy chalk, like we're on heavy chalk here, but because I've got pockets of good soil here, I'm getting away with it. Shrubs are important to a garden as well. You really do need to take some time and invest in shrubs. That's a perennial, that one there. And I like the, what are they, burgundy edges to the leaves. And it's classed as a tree, but I think it's more of a shrub than a tree. Anything can be a shrub if you choose to prune it the right way. But that is a really good one, so if you're looking for a nice shrub, that's worth considering. This is an Acer, and I've never ever found out the name, and I bought it off a friend of mine who's just sadly passed away, which is a massive shock to me. Just passed away this week, and I got that off of him, and he's not much older than me, but he's now gone, and he was a good plant buddy as well. I used to go down there and just mulch away the hours with him, talking dribble and crap like we used to do. But now, sadly, that's not going to happen anymore, because he's gone. So, just reflecting on that. But I've got that in his memory now. I'll always remember him by that Acer there. So, let's carry on. As usual, this view is a lovely view. Plants are coming on a lot. Look at them. Look how big they're getting. And I'm sure everybody's is at this time of the year, or there should be. There should be. That's a nice Phalictrum. That's Phalictrum Ann, the one in the middle of the shot. And the colour's amazing actually. I think it's quite, well, looking through the camera it looks more bluey than it actually is. It's more green than blue, but through the camera it does look blue. Anyway, that's a good one to get. That will get up to about 7 or 8 foot, that, with its flower. And its flower is starting to push up now. Won't flower just yet, but it is starting to push up. And that's it there on the end. So it'll have several of those pushing up at some point. All looking good. This is a nice Eryngium. I don't really show you this one because for years it's done absolutely nothing. But it's now starting to look good. I'll put the full name on because I can't really remember it. I tend not to remember the name of this one because it's just been such a poor example. But finally this year, it's doing well. It's still only small and it could do with being in a different area, to be honest. It would prefer more sun. Astrantia, this is Muriel's gift. Remember, it was a gift from a person I knew. Well, it's Jill Richardson's sister, basically, of the famous Jill Richardson group. And this is one given to me by Muriel from Jill herself, proclaiming that it was probably better than the ones available commercially. I don't know if that's true. because the ones available commercially are pretty good, but it is a good one. Look at the darkness of that colour. Really nice, and it's got some really nice tints to the leaf edges as well. In fact, that's a better example there. So it is a really good one. And I named it Muriel's Gift in memory of Muriel, who also passed away but several years back. It's nice. Now this spirea is looking brilliant. Look at the colour in that. Fantastic. If you're looking for smaller shrubs in your garden, consider some of the spireas. There's a lot of them. A lot of spireas. All different sizes and types. But this is a particularly good one. So I don't have to put the name on board. I'm sure I've got the label with it. Yes, I have. I've got the label with this one. So this one is called Spirea japonica Firelight. And you can see why it's called Firelight. Really nice. Oh, we're getting a bit of rain. I could do with a bit of rain. It's only a little bit. It's been doing it on and off all day. It's never really come to much, but hopefully we'll get a good douse at some point. See the buddleia in there? That one there? That's one I rescued years ago from as a cutting, really. And I've taken it around to 3 other gardens with me. And it's in the wrong place, totally in the wrong place, but it always does well. Always does well. So the bamboo hasn't been doing very well, that's there next to it. And that's because we've had too much sun on it. It would prefer a little bit more shade. And the best way to deal with it, if your bamboo goes off colour, if it's in too much of a sunny section, is to actually water it heavily and then give it some nitrogen feed and then some general fertiliser a bit later on in the year. But just keep it fed and watered until it recovers again. It can take sunny conditions, but it favours semi-shade or shade. That's a Fargesia type. Now before we forget, we'll show you this Wisteria, which is a sinensis type called Amethyst. And it's finally flowering for me. What a flower, it's beautiful, and the scent is amazing. As most people who've got a Wisteria will know, the scent on any Wisteria is wonderful. I'm going to have another sniff. Oh God, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I bought that from Larch Cottage Nurseries up in the Lake District. A fantastic nursery. If you're looking for unusual plants, you should look them up. They are online and they do mail order. That's where that one's from. It's lovely just walking around the garden. I walk around my garden every single night, to be honest with you. Every night without fail. And I'm often walking around in the dark as well, because it gives you a different view completely. Now these geraniums, I have found out the name. I've forgotten again what it is, but I will put it on screen. That geranium is a nice spreader. It has a lovely colour, as you can see. And finally, I looked through some of my pictures and found out what the name is. So I will put it on screen, I promise, if I remember. Because I don't remember everything. Now, trees again. This is another sorbus, and one of the trees of a small columnar tree that I recommend to everybody. And it's called Autumn Spire. And what you'll get from time to time on any tree really is this dieback. It's a bit of a protective mode that they go into if they're suffering stress or if the conditions are not correct. And in this case, it's on chalk again, and sorbuses are not keen on chalk, although they do grow on it. But what you must do with something like that is just simply remove that dead bit. So there, I'll cut it, and we'll cut all that dead off. And it's got 2 or 3 different sections that are in the same position as that one, dead. So we'll chop them off. But you must do that, get rid of it, because it looks terrible. Let's have a look at the old owl. I love looking at that owl when I come in the garden. Always looks good. Always looks good. Is there anything else worth showing you in here? It's just growth really. The asphodeline up the top. Oh come on, I've mentioned it, Anna. I wish I wouldn't mention things and then I won't have to show you them. This is asphodeline lutea. Been in here from the moment I built this border really. and it's at this phase at the minute. It's usually a lot taller, but it has a year where it'll grow tall and then a year where it will grow sort of medium, and this is its medium year. It could usually put about another foot to a foot and a half on that, taller with the flowers. They will get taller, but at the moment that's where it is. But it looks great. I like it a lot actually, and it's one of my favourite early flowering plants. And it has a grass-like appearance. In fact, I think that's why I bought it in the first place, because of that grass-like appearance it has. There's another geranium here. Now this is lovely. This is called Lily Lovell, a very popular one. Let's have a look, see if we can show you that. There you go, a nice one. A really nice one, that. I like it. I've got it all over the place. It self-seeds everywhere. Look, there's another one here, just to prove it. It's looking nice up the driveway. There's the driveway tree that I mentioned earlier. Look at that, it looks great, I love it. I got this Phlomis Italica. I've left it alone this year. I've cut all its undercarriage away, for want of a better way of describing it. So we've lifted its skirt. Now, these plants can look terrible at certain times of the year. They can look wishy-washy and sick. So actually that's why I removed the lower stuff, because it was looking terrible early on. It's evergreen, practically evergreen, and it produces flowers, and in this case they're all the way up the new stems and they will be purple. So I left it alone this year because I wanted to see what they were going to look like, and I think they're going to look great this year. Roses are looking fantastic. I've got signs of rose buds forming. In fact, there's quite a lot on some of the roses, but there's no sign of a flower yet. They're not actually popped out. Remaining tight and close, but we are quite early. I mean, we're only in very early May. That's looking good. That's the Generous Gardener. I love that one. From in the house, it looks fantastic, especially at night when the little lights come onto this pergola, because I've got some little fairy lights on it, and they tend to give it a little bit of light. Not a lot, as you can imagine from fairy lights, but nevertheless, it does really set it off. I love looking up the garden in this section, or through the garden. Look at that, that's just beautiful, that. Let's have a look. Right, I'm looking at it in real time, and I'm looking at it through the camera. The camera is doing a good job, but in real time, actually being here and looking through, the depth of that is amazing. And that's why it's important to add things like these structures here, which is just a gate post. In fact, there's two, isn't there? There's another one there. Where's my finger? There. So that's another gate post, just there. And that just draws your attention and gives that little section some meaning. I always say to you, put something man-made in your garden. Always adds interest. It's not cheating. You know, you don't have to be a wonderful plants person to have a beautiful garden. A few plants and a few man-made things mixed together make the garden look fantastic. And this always looks nice on pictures because we have these seats or these chairs here and the little table, so it makes it look like a really nice place to sit. And it is a nice place to sit. Me and Des do while away the hours often under there and in all the other places. It's looking good. Now I've got a little section here, let's show you it while we're up here. Another little section that's new. So we finally moved this cow drinking trough. We've put it here, and there's 3 lavenders in there, just the ordinary English lavender, and then I've put another Physocarpus here called Magic Ball. Now I'm a little bit disappointed because since I put it here it's got burnt, and I thought it did okay in sun because this is quite sunny at one phase in the day. In fact, you can see now it's sunny now, but it's burning it. So either it just needs to settle in or it's in the wrong place. I'll do more investigation on that and we'll see what happens. This here, right, look. I bought this off my friend. She sold me this. And I'm going to turn it into cloud pruning like I'm doing with the other one. This one's Taxus baccata Summer Gold. I believe to be Summer Gold. Now, I thought I had Summer Gold, but my Summer Gold is nowhere near as gold as this. So I bought this off of her. Got it for 20 quid. Don't tell her, but I would have given her 40, 50 quid for that. It's beautiful. And what I'm going to do, again, with this one is, as I just said, I'm going to start stripping back, and perfect at the minute for doing cloud pruning. And that's what I'm going to do with it. It's going to look great. Look at all the different sections on it. There. Oh, it's all exciting, isn't it? Creating something like that. That's going to look brilliant. So give it a go. It's not hard to do. Oh, walking around here, let's show you the other one that I did out of one called Texas Picata David. We made one out of this. And there it is, look at that. And I've shown on one of my other videos how to go about that. And this is probably 5 years old now. And I've turned the clouds themselves into bigger balls, as you can see. And it's just a little bit of patience, a bit of time. Originally, we had lots of little sections on each one of these, so there was probably 2 or 3 within that section there, and then we've made them bigger. So now we've got quite a lot going on. It's an unusual one to use for cloud pruning, but it's one that I fancied giving a go, and it's worked. So here's the gravel area pergola, what we're stood next to at the minute, that I'm looking through, and where the table is. Look at that, isn't that just nice? With that lovely Euphorbia wolfenii there. That is huge. That is just a seedling I took from an house where we was painting, and there's hundreds of seedlings, so I looked for the best ones. Look for the bluer ones if you're going to pull out wolfenii. And I think this is more like the Cariakis type rather than the wolfenii, although looking at it, it's not quite as gangly as a Cariakis, but it does come through Cariakis, and this I think tends to hold more of that than wolfenii, because wolfenii are more squat, little dumpy little things. So this is a bit bigger, but it's looking great. I mean, this time of year it's fantastic, and you can see we've got Comasias behind it. And the trouble with Comasias, as me and Des was discussing the other day, is that they go through a bit quick. And I said to him that he's got his in a section where he gets full sunshine all the time, but what helps is if you can have them in a semi-shaded area. It prolongs the life. They don't go through as quick. These ones are at the top of my garden and they're doing well, whereas the ones that we'll look at later down the bottom of the garden are not as good. They're more through. They've gone through now, whereas these are hanging on a bit, and that's simply because it's in more shade. That's all it is. So just bear that in mind. Oh, I'm loving this plant now since I put it in here. Absolutely loving it. And it's Rhodiola rosea. And you can see it does have a bit of a rosy colour in those flowers. I'm still not 100% convinced it is rosea. I'm not sure whether it's just the straightforward one. Because rosea, the ones I've looked at before, definitely rose coloured on the ends. This one isn't so rosy, but they look brilliant. I love it there. I'm so pleased I took it out of its container. Yeah, definitely worth getting. If you've got an Alpine type bed, that would look fantastic in it. And I put sand around that to highlight it really. And the other plants you can see, which you think the weeds, they're not. They're all poppies. What type, I don't know yet, because I've got several different types around this garden, so that'll be a surprise when they come up. This is a nice grass, although it looks a little bit wilder than most ornamental grasses. It is still nice, a very early one. These seed heads do get at least 2 foot higher normally. This year, they're not doing that. They're a bit smaller, a bit more squat. And it's called Festuca paniculata. But I like it for its earliness. And to the right of it, you can see we've got the blues. They are Aliums magellanicus. Beautiful, I love these. These self-seed everywhere, which I like, but I don't get enough self-seeds from them. They tend to, there's another one here. They tend to not self-seed as much as I would like, but nevertheless they're looking great, and they look great there. Look at that little combination. That's fantastic. Now this, while we're here, Des gave me this plant here. I'm going to look for its name because I know I've still got it here. Let's have a look, see what era it like. Yeah, Viburnum, but it's a particular, it's just one of the smaller Viburnums, the Chaxii types, and it's Viburnum Chaxii Snowy Spires. Now, I'm not bothered about varieties on these. I quite like just the Chaxii type itself. Oh, let's try and get that back. I'll end up losing that. I'll be blowing away soon, or the pigeon will fly off with it. Anyway, so that looks good now. Now last year it was tiny, absolutely tiny. Now look at it, it's going to produce spires of kind of creamy white again, flowers that look really nice. And it seeds around, but I can't find any. Can't find any of that have self-set around here, so maybe I'll have a look around for them. Oh, here's a nice little Anthemis. This is Anthemis cupaniana. early, very early, and white. I like it, but the trouble is it's dying away a little bit, but that's my fault because I moved it at the back end of last year where I should have really left it. I only moved it about 6 inches one way, but it can have a big effect on it if you're not careful. But it's a really nice daisy. I like daisy-like flowers. You know, I'm not a big flower fan, but I love daisy-like flowers. Probably goes back to my childhood when we all used to make daisy chains, including the boys. Don't deny it, lads. We all used to make them. Well, when we was at school we did. And it's a really good low spreading plant. Highly recommended for a sunny hot area really, that Anthemis. It's looking good. So this juniper I'm thinking of moving. It's called Blue Arrow. And I'm just thinking that I've got a better place for it. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to leave it. It's easy to move evergreen shrubs or trees because they tend to take it better when you move them. They don't just curl over and die. So you can move those in August and they'll be okay as long as you water them in heavily once you do move them. So I'm thinking of moving it. Again, another move that I'm going to make. I'm always doing it. Never be afraid to move things. If you're thinking that, well, they're not really working, never be afraid to move a plant. If you don't like it where it is, move it. So this is Miscanthus lutaria riparius that I show all the time as it gets taller, and it's going to get a lot taller. It's going to put another 10 foot on easily before it's finished. He's looking really good. But behind it, the bamboo is looking terrible. And at first I thought, oh, I hope it's not coming into seed because we've had some stressful conditions. But upon further investigation, bamboos don't really like to be out in full sun. And unfortunately, the start of this year, we've had a lot of sun and this has been really getting loads of sun. And it's not liking it. It really ain't liking it. So if you've got a bamboo that's looking like this, don't worry too much. Best thing to do, let's get back here, let's get further back so we get a better look of it, so you can see how terrible it looks. Don't worry. Water it heavily. Get some nitrogen or a general fertiliser to the base and just keep watering it and it will come back and it will recover. It would prefer a more shady position, which normally it's got as the summer comes in, but because we've had a lot of sun early on, it really has affected it. And it's looking terrible. But look at the bottom, look at the growth at the bottom. It's not going to die. Well, famous last words them, aren't they? But hopefully it's not going to die. It's looking terrible. But I have also noted that this Fatsia japonica is looking terrible. But it is that time of year when things can look a bit ropey on certain plants, and these are no exception. So we'll just wait. We'll just wait for this one and we'll see what happens. And we'll feed this one as well. It needs some food. I meant to give it some food a couple of days ago, but completely forgot. But it has got new growth coming. Look, you can see in there. Oh, let's have a look. Let's get closer. There we go. So you can see lots of new growth. I'm not too worried. And Fatsias do tend to have a period where they drop their leaves. They really don't like it at different phases in the year. They tend to suffer. And I suspect that, again, this one is suffering because of the sun. It might be one in the future that we may have to lose out the garden. Because if you haven't got an area where you can put it in the shade, it's not going to like it in full sun. And there we go. But we'll see what happens. Now, I'm bringing you around here because I want to show you this. And this happens every year. This is Viburnum ritidiphyllum, one of my favourite shrubs. Definitely one of my favourite shrubs. Put it in as a little shrub when we got here. And it's now doing pretty good, getting tall, but it looks terrible, doesn't it? All them yellowing oranges of those leaves dropping off, as you can see, dropping all over. Don't worry, this is the time when it sheds some of the leaves. It's an evergreen, remember. It needs to lose them at some phase. It tends to do it once it's going to come into flower. And it is about that time. I'm looking for some flowers, but there isn't one on this. I've got one in a pot that is flowering. But it tends to do this just before it flowers or when it's flowering, often. And what I like doing, I love doing this bit, I like coming around and just testing them. Now that's a little bit too rigid still, but if you go up to some of them, oh, I didn't show you that, did I? It was off camera. So here we go, right, this one here, that should pull away dead easy, hopefully. Don't let me down. There you go. So it comes off dead easy. And I like going over the whole bush and pulling those off. I just enjoy it. It's like a therapy. It's leaf therapy again. So you just knock them off. And I do it every year. Now there's going to be a point when I can't really do that because it's going to get too big. But don't worry, all is not lost. You just leave them alone. They will just drop off naturally. When the whole leaf goes that yellowy colour, it'll just simply drop off. And sometimes if you give it a good shake, it won't happen this time, I know it won't, because I'm going to do this. No. Oh, one fell off, but you didn't see that. And there you go, there's another one. They come off dead easy. So, but don't worry, don't mess about with it. Oh, while we're here, let's show you this. This is the Taxus baccata, supposed to be summer gold. Not convinced it's summer gold. I think it's a type. But summer gold, it is not. Although it's supposed to get more yellow as summer comes, hence summer gold. It looks terrible. So I'm turning this one into a cloud pruning as well. Now, if it doesn't perform better than it is doing now, I might revert that and chop it all the way back in and make it create a shrub. It's actually more of a spreading type taxus. So we will have to make our decisions. We'll have to make our decisions as the year goes on as to what we're going to do. Because I've got that nice gold coloured one, which is way better than that. Oh, that's nice. I just looked up there and just spotted that view through there. What a wonderful view. Shame about the fats here, innit? Looking yellow. Not liking it. But the other bamboo's doing well there. That tall one. That's not being affected. Maybe that likes more sunshine. I don't know. So we'll go around here now. We've got another acer here. And again, trees and shrubs. Keep telling you, trees and shrubs. Great to have trees and shrubs. Look for them. They are really, if you've got a new garden, let's have a little lesson. Right, if you've got a new garden that you're just planting up or you're about to plant up, work out the sizes of your borders and then put in 1 or 2 key trees and shrubs. Don't overdo it, but place them. Even if you've only got a few canes to put in, push the canes in to where you want the trees and where you want the shrubs and work it out. And if you've got an artistic eye, then the job will be a lot easier because you'll know how to place them properly. But just bear in mind the size of the tree, the location it's in. Does it like that location? Would something else be better suited? The sorbus that you can probably make out, that one there, sorbus, another autumn spire. I put there 5 years ago, one of the first ones to go in. But it's not doing well because it's on chalk, but it's getting there. It's taking time, it's taking a lot longer than I would like. But if I add a lot of organic mulch onto that or some organic matter, it'll do a lot better. But you could also use things like this. This is Acer Trompenborg, and the colour of the leaf at this time is fantastic. Now, I got worried a couple of years ago when it went off colour. And I thought, oh no, it's not liking it. Actually, you probably don't notice, but I've moved it to here. It was further across there before, and I said at the time, it was behind that hydrangea and they were both competing against each other. But I thought that it would be better here. And it is, it's a lot better there. So, what was I saying? Oh, I get sidetracked, don't I? So what I'm saying is, so in the summer, it will go off colour, and it's a natural thing for them to do. Some of them don't like the summers and tend to go a little bit pasty. Now, this could do with being in more shade, and it is in shade, to be quite honest. Most of the day, it's in shade. So it does well. But like I say, it's going to be a little bit more pasty at certain times of the year. So I'll take a little walk down here. There you go, there's that tree, and it does look good. It does look good. You must put trees in. I've put loads of trees in this garden, as my regular viewers will know. But I do put silly little plants in, like that Bistorta there, that pink flowered one. Nice one, that. I quite like having that. It self-seeds around. I don't tend to find them. Not in this garden, I've not found them, but it's doing well. And it's Persicaria, and it does quite well as a clump there, but like I say, I never really find it. Never find it anywhere else. Oh, look, this little combination here, this is fantastic. Quite a lot of greenery and a lot of substantial leafery, as you can see, with the Rheum palmatum in the background and its flower, and the Cynara cardunculus there. The one on the right, I'm telling you but not showing you, Cynara, then my Euphorbia malachi, then Palustrus, Euphorbia palustris, the yellow one there, all looking good, all creating some sort of a look. And then we do have the perennials here that are going to look fantastic later on in the year. And we are still playing with this border. We're getting it right, or I'm getting it right. It's finally getting there. I've added grasses over the years, some done well and some are not so good. And then we go to this euphorbia, the one that I say I wish it had died early on. But I didn't realise it was going to carry on, and it has, because it can be quite tender. Euphorbia cross Pasteurei. Now its common name, as other ones are, is called honey spurge, and the flowers are finally, see if we can get you a better shot, there you go. The flowers are finally coming out. And once they are fully out, and let me have a smell. Nearly there, but once they open up better than that, they will smell completely of honey. But it is a good one. If you've got a jungle garden, look for that one. That one or mellifera, which is a little bit more tender. This is, I think, a bit hardier, and it's definitely come through, and it will make quite a a substantial shrub, which we call a sub-shrub. So it's kind of a shrub and it's kind of not a shrub. I don't know why they call them sub-shrubs, but they do. And it makes quite a clump, and it definitely get higher than that. The one place where I bought it from, they had one that was up to 6.5, I think, maybe 7 foot, and it was in a walled garden, so it looked fantastic. So we'll carry on down this border. There's a miscanthus, and this leaf is causing a problem now. Now, listen, a little bit of a tip. Yes, I know that leaf is causing a problem at the moment, but by the time this miscanthus gets bigger, that leaf is not going to be a problem. It's either going to have died away or be dying away, or I might have removed it, which in this case, I'm likely to remove it. It is massive, this leaf. It's more of a rhubarb, this plant, a Chinese rhubarb commonly called. But you can see it's hiding some of it. In fact, there's another one under there hiding it. This is a very strong miscanthus, so it won't matter, because by the time it starts flowering, those leaves above it will practically be gone. It was a deliberate placement of that miscanthus, because I knew this would happen. So there you go, look at that, doesn't that just look good? I know I go on about euphorbias, and as I said previously, euphorbias are my second favourite family of plants. I love them. And this one's palustris, and it's one called, or a variety called Wallenberg's Glory. It's an absolute stunner. Very early in the season for flowering, as all euphorbias are. I don't know if you can make it out, but let's have a look, let's show you. Move my camera a bit. Right, so let's zoom in, because I can't be bothered to walk around. With me, there you go. So you can see the tulips finally gone. Finally gone, dropping off. Now what I shall do, all those little seed heads, I shall snap those off at some point, because I don't want that self-seeding around. But for now, we shall leave it alone. And trees, let's go back to trees. So these two trees are fantastic. I love these trees. Fagus sylvatica in the background, that one there. Fagus sylvatica, one called Dowett Gold. So it's more golden, and it's columnar and very upright, but a fantastic tree if you've got the space for it. It will make 45 foot in the end, but very slowly. It won't get big quick, but it will get up to that stage. Now this one here, as you know, is the birch I've been working on, the silver birch, and it is looking absolutely superb now. It's now getting its leaves on. I've given it a good dousing of water, and because we've had a lot of hot weather, birches can suffer because they're very shallow rooted. So if you're looking for a tree to put next to a building, a silver birch would be perfect, because the shallow rooted and do not cause a problem to the foundations. Believe me, I've been keeping them for years. But look at that, that's just beautiful. In fact, Kathy came out the other day and we was talking about this, and I think she loves this one. She made comment on it, and it's looking so white now. I've got some good planting around here now, finally. There's an epimedium there, that's fantastic. Epimediums are good for shade. I've got an hydrangea behind it, I've got ferns, and I've got another astrantia in the background that likes a bit of shade. So it's doing well, doing really good. This is a self-set grass. I'll go back so we can show you. Look at that, that's fantastic, isn't it? Now that is Achnophorum calamagrostis. It just self-set itself there, which is brilliant. The one behind it is Girava ichu, which is coming back. I've cut it back, it looks terrible, but it will look good in the end. But really, it don't want to be there. These two grasses don't want to be next to each other. It's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate self-placing of that grass there. Put itself there, so that's what happens. And sometimes we have to put up with that. Or we remove one or the other. And in this case, I'm going to leave them both. Not bothered. All right, Rebel. So here we are again. Another Astrantia, Muriel's gift. I've got it all over. I've split it up and I've put it in different areas in the garden because I like to experiment, see where it does well. And in this case, it's doing very well. Very well indeed. So I'm leaving it alone. Just leaving it. And I will split some more because I like it so much that I want to put it further around the garden in different places. Oh, what's happening to... Oh, did we have a frost last night? We did, didn't we? Somebody was telling me that with the fault we had a frost last night. And I was just thinking how sad this looks today, whereas yesterday it was looking fantastic. It's curled up a bit, but hopefully that'll be the last of the frosts. It has hit it a little bit, but it will come back. Now, this is a hosta called Empress Wu, and it's massive. It's massive now, to be honest, for an hosta. But I keep hammering it with water. I keep putting loads of water in, because you need to put loads of water in. Don't forget, we've had a lot of sun. So this area is looking nice. Look, another euphorbia. Now, I don't know if everybody else is getting this problem, but we've got problem with greenfly. I've never seen as many greenfly in my entire life as we've had this year. We have got thousands of them. Now I've had to do something about these because they were killing it off. I have been rubbing them off, washing them off, but there's been so many that they're absolutely hammering this euphorbia, which I'm not used to. I'm not used to them doing that on euphorbias. So I've gone for the bottle, and hopefully that has helped me out. Now the ladybirds, there was hundreds of them in spring, early spring. No, there's not one to be seen at the minute. I don't know what's going on. Not one to be seen. Oh, never mind. Sometimes you have to do this. I know people don't like to spray any plant, and I hate spraying them. But in this case, they were just simply killing it, and I knew eventually that would just die. In fact, are they dead? Are they dead? No, they're not. Most of those are still alive. They're still alive, still running around. Oh, it's a nightmare. But being a gardener, we have to put up with things like that. Oh, that Fagus, it's a beech, basically, this. Fagus sylvatica. And it's beautiful, very, very columbular, as I've just said. But it's a wonderful tree. I get to see it from out of the house now because the trees that used to be across the road, let's see if we can show you. Right, I can't see what I'm looking at the minute, so hopefully you can see that there's a load of trees missing from that building. It used to cover the top of that building. It was a tree that was dying. No longer there, it's gone. The tree surgeons came last week and took them, or 2 weeks ago. And now when we're in the house, this stands out a mile. Now, unfortunately, it's going to block the view again. We've got a lovely view now across the wolds, across the fields. And this is now starting to take over that view. And I'm thinking, oh, did I make a mistake? Well, at the time, I made the right choice by putting that there, because we didn't have a view anyway. Well, now we have, but actually that's adding to the view. Looking great, but it's a good tree. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I waffle on, don't I? It's a good tree to get for your garden. It's nice, I like it. Columbular and upright, always the key. Let's go to this one. This is another good tree. This is fantastic. I like to show this one every year. This is a hawthorn, but one called Paul Scarlet. And it's just starting to come out with its flowers, as you can see there. Just starting, looking fantastic. And last year, pigeon sat on it, didn't it? Sat on this section here, snapped one of the branches off. So now it is very, very out of shape. Not good. It's really not good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait. Someone's stripping those, this caterpillar's stripping these off again. Look, they've got to it already. They've done the thing, so they've gone. So there's nothing we can do about it now. We'll just leave it. If you get caterpillars on your birches or this type of tree at this time of year, try and shake them off or wash them off with water. And they tend to fall on the ground, they never climb back up. Anyway, that aside, I was going on about the shape of this tree. And it's ruined it for me, spoilt it completely. But what I'm going to do, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm going to wait till the flowers are finished. And then those taller ones, they're going to be brought back in, just on the tall ones, to be more in keeping with this shorter one, which is where the pigeon sat and broke the lower branches, snapped it. So it's created a bit of a hole, as you can see there, whereas the rest of it is fully formed. Now, that shouldn't be like that. and it'll look stupid over time. So what I'll do is we'll cut it back a little bit, not too much, and then it'll reshape it and off it'll go again. But we'll wait for the flowers because we get to view those from in the house and it looks brilliant when it comes out. Okay, right, back to the Karl Forster border. Bit slower this year, a lot slower actually. And the Aliums were doing really well again, but the weather has absolutely hammered them. They're down there again. They were doing so well, but actually I'm noticing there's a lot of slug damage on them. And once more, I blamed the cats last year. I think it was the slugs and the weather that ruined them. This one here is actually starting to form a flower now. It's very early for that, very early. But it's not helping. So they are dying away. So I'm going to make the decision that I'm going to remove all of those Aliums. They are definitely coming out. They're just growing each year and doing nothing. They've done this for 2 years running now, so I can't put up with that. I'd rather have more and more grasses in there. But it's not doing great this year either because, again, it's not been wet enough. It's not rainy enough. I am having to subsidise it with a bit of watering, but you can't overdo it with watering. I want the plant to be strong. I want it to do it itself, so I've left it alone and just watered it maybe a couple of times. But the sun has been relentless on these borders, which I wasn't expecting when I first planted the border. Whereas other things, like the echinaceas, are loving it. They're coming ahead of time, absolutely loving it. This is looking nice now. I know I took that cow drinker away, which we looked at earlier, but it's not hurt at all. I've just got to wait for a bit of maturity now in this area. We've got ferns that are going to grow bigger, and it is a bit small at the minute. I did move it at the, when did I move it? Beginning of this year, including the other one across there, and it was really the wrong time. I should probably have moved the ferns in. Autumn would have been better in my opinion, but they will be big ferns, and this time next year they will, well, the fronds will be a bit further along, and if that irritates me, then I will move them if they're not getting big enough and replace them with something that will cover that gap under there. Now I have got an option for that gap. I've recently come across some really thin lat type stuff, which would be perfect for putting on the front of that. It would make it look interesting. We would leave the gaps so you could see through, and we are likely to do that, to be honest. It's looking good generally. Everything's starting to come back again. It's all coming good. Another euphorbia. Do like my euphorbias, don't I? And that one again is palustrous, doing well. Doing very well. But it is quite heavy in this area and it retains its moisture, so I'm not surprised. Okay, so another section that I've changed. This. For the keen-eyed of you, I've put some of those railway sleepers across. They're not really railway sleepers, but they're classed as railway sleepers. But these haven't got tar on them. And what I've done is I've put them there to stop me doing this, which is I've replaced some of the turf here. You can see, you can probably just make out that that turf has been replaced because the border was coming further and further in. And as gardeners, we have a lot of failings, and this is one of them. You have good intentions of putting in a border, and before you know it, you've got a 50-foot border that you never meant to create. In this case, I did want a bigger border because I want it for my miscanthus varieties. There's about 5 varieties in there, I do believe, and as time goes on, they're going to be highlighted at the back end of summer, so we can show you what they look like. And I wanted to keep them in a bit more of a rigid and uniformed area, which is why I've put those in. But I've also done it here now. The keen-eyed of you will notice the plum's gone. It did start growing back. I don't know if I mentioned it, but it did start growing back. I said it would. But I just couldn't wait another 10, 15, 20 years because I ain't got that time left for that to actually grow. So we cut it off and we've left the stump in, which, where is the stump? I've covered it over with soil. And we've left it there because the cats love it. They run up here all the time. It's a scratching post for them now, but I like the look of it. It looks really nice, especially when the sun's shining like just then. It looks fantastic. In fact, at the minute I can see that looks like an anteater. The actual shape. It looks great. Oh, that sun. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, maybe I ought to start again. Maybe start the video again. No, we better not. We ain't got time. But anyway, this is more of a wildlife area. and it's looking good. I mean, what a difference just taking that tree down has made. Now, talking about not extending the border, I must trim this up. I must take out the grass here. I've got to take it out. I've got to go around there and just straighten it up, or just give it a bit of a shape to make it look a little bit better. And again, don't be afraid to do that. People are afraid to do such things, but I'm not. Oh, that bamboo's looking great in that cow trough now up there. Look at it, it's really thickening up now. Doing really well. Doesn't seem to mind a bit of sun, because it does get a bit of sun, but it gets more shade than sun, and it's making a great hedge. That particular type, the Fargesia types, make great hedges. You can actually trim them at the top to straighten them off, but I don't like doing that, and that's one of my favourite views, as you know. Let's go to this sheep bale feeder. This is that Persicaria polymorpha. It's also called Alpine, but I'm going to keep calling it polymorpha. And it's tiny at the minute, but that, as you know from previous videos, will completely fill that bale sheep ring feeder. Completely. So in another 2 months, that view will be completely different. Absolutely different. And the decking looks good, doesn't it? Look at that. Look how nice that decking looks at this time of year, with all the new plant growth and with the sun shining. Beautiful. I just love it. You can see through it as well, see past it and up through the gap, through there up to the rest of the garden. And these are scenes that I set all the time, always doing that. I love it. That's a great picture, that. Great photograph. I'm always photographing stuff. I like to keep a record of how things are doing. And trees, let's go back to the trees. So trees, remember, very important for the garden. Every garden needs at least one tree. And I've got several in this garden that I've planted myself. Obviously didn't plant the big one at the back, that was already here. But a lot of the trees in this garden I've planted myself. And in the future, people either chop them down or they'll thank me for the trees I've put in. And let's hope they do thank me, because I've put some good varieties in. So there's not a lot else to say, really, apart from that the Hostas are doing well. Let's give you a quick show while we're here. Might as well show you the Hostas. This one's called Hosta Paul's Glory. Beautiful one. Fantastic. Finally starting to get there. And then this one's called Catherine. One I bought for Kathy. That's looking good. Oh, let's look at the deck while we're here so you get that nice view. There you go. Look at that. Beautiful. And then we'll just finally shoot round to here and show you the other bunch of Hostas that are growing very well. Very nice. Some I'm be selling. Another load here. Most of these are going to be for sale. Not this one. This one's called Sage. Fantastic. I love it. Absolutely brilliant. And it takes sun and shade. I think it would prefer semi-shade to get the best colour out of it, in my opinion. So if you're looking for a Hosta, do that. So just to end it, we'll show you these. I'm doing a plant fair for the Hardy Plant Society. If you've not heard of it, it's a group of geeks like me who trial new plants, and it is a society. It's all over England. Every county has its own Hardy Plant Society club, and we have one in Lincolnshire, and we have the biggest one for members. And I'm doing a plant sale next week, and these are the ones I shall be selling. So you'll be too late by the time I edit and post this, but for those that are there, hopefully you get to see these and you might buy one off me and make me a millionaire, but I doubt it. Anyway, right, okay, so there you go. It is Sunday. It's not Sunday morning, but I decided to do this. I did do another video a week and a half ago, and I never edited it. In fact, I decided it had to go because the garden had come on so much since then that I thought, might as well do a new one. And I have. There you go. Okay, I'll talk to you on the next one. Ta-da!